my new book in 5 languages. It's not written in 5 languages. It's written in English with a little bit of French thrown in here and there. But I'm going to talk to you about it today in 5 languages. Why? Well, because this is a multilingual channel and I want the YouTube algorithm to recognize that. I've niched down a lot to talk about Irish language, and that's going to continue to be the focus, as it is for me at the moment. But I have a great love of other languages too, and so I'm going to share some of that. I will put subtitles so you can follow whichever languages you do or don't understand. Not repeating, but with different info in each language. I'd really like to know, actually, which languages are your main interest or interests, so please let me know in the comments. Bemi aleov as murshgel nua inyuv, the war within me, taresh tjachtamach. Tan turshgel siche lelin gogi religionichi sa rank. Tommy eskriv skelte agus danta o vi me an og. Agus husse me rudi a hol shu, nuish a vi me snadjega. Anish Tommy shaska bliandish, agus sho mo chachtu hurske. Nuish a husse me a genef an kanel sho. Vi fôn orm mo changaka golir a úsáid. Dovrí sin be me a lawersht I jangacha ele, ach be me fós a genef fi sean in Gaeilge gach shachten, ná bí gí búrtha. Et maintenant, je vous parle un peu en français pour présenter mon roman. Le français, c'est mon autre obsession, à part le gaélique. Ça, c'est une fiction, mais c'est basé sur l'histoire de Jeanne d'Albret. La voilà. Reine de Navarre et fille de la reine écrivaine Marguerite de Navarre. The War Within Me est le 2e roman d'une trilogie sur les reines de Navarre. Et là, on voit Marguerite. Tome 1, The Queen's Apprenticeship, donc l'apprentissage de la reine, raconte l'histoire de cette Marguerite, ainsi que l'histoire d'un personnage imaginé, une fille pauvre qui veut devenir imprimeur, qui se déguise en garçon et qui traverse des épreuves tout en parcourant la France. Donc ce sont 2 histoires entrelacées pour vous communiquer au moins 2 aspects de la vie au XVIe siècle par le moyen du roman. Wenn Sie sich für das 16. Jahrhundert interessieren und wenn Sie Englisch lesen können, ist diese Trilogie wahrscheinlich die richtige für Sie. Dieses 2. Buch spricht von Johanna von Navarre oder Jeanne d'Albret, Königin von Navarre, und Leiterin während der Hugenottenkriegs. Sie war eine schwierige, aber interessante Frau. Ihre Geschichte ist auch eine tragische Liebesgeschichte. Während des Ausbruchs der Pandemie begann ich, diese Bücher zu schreiben. Diese Frauen lebten in einem Zeitalter der Pest, aber sie überlebten sie. Der 3. Roman steht noch zu erwarten. Il terzo romanzo storico della mia trilogia parla di un'altra Margherita, Margherita de Valois, nuora di Giovanna d'Albret e moglie di Enrico IV. È difficile scrivere di questa Margherita, perché lo hanno già fatto tanti altri scrittori. Non era esattamente così per le 2 donne precedenti, ma ci sono molti miti e leggende sulla regina Margot. Quello era il suo soprannome che voglio esplorare. Per ora leggerò in inglese dal 2° romanzo che parla di Giovanna d'Albret. Eccola che accoglie la cugina Françoise, incinta e tradita dal suo amante. Cosa dirà Giovanna? Cosa farà? Jeanne has at first felt angry with her cousin for bringing shame upon herself and upon their house by making an unofficial marriage and falling pregnant. And Françoise has just arrived at Jeanne's palace for protection in her pregnancy. They're cousins. Jeanne says, I stand a moment frozen, but the ice in me breaks at last, and I open my arms wide, and Françoise falls heavily into them and sobs upon my shoulder. Everyone out, I bark, because I will be alone with her, no matter what she has to say. My aunt lingers a moment until she feels my glare fall upon her, and then she too retreats. Extra cushions for ease, a padded footstool, a tray of savoury delicacies and sweetmeats, a cup or two of the luscious, pink-tinted almond milk that she loves. Everything Françoise could want is ordered to restore her after her journey. So her weeping has soon settled, and when the servants are out of range again, she begins to tell me her woe. Jacques spent his last night with me before leaving to cross the Alps, she whispers, that first-name tenderness making me cringe. And I had not the courage yet to tell him I was with child. I did write to him then, but he never replied. The scoundrel! How could you trust such a one? But he'd said he was husband to me, and I a wife to him, which would make it permissible, and I did likewise. You know it is with this form of words that a marriage is made and is holy before God, even— I know it ought not to be so, I snap, without even alerting your most high and most honoured relations, let alone a minister being present. Rome may give heed to such private undertakings, but they are wrong, plain wrong, ma cousine. And now that the deed is done, who can vouch for what you say, should he deny it? They go on to discuss her naivety and the deception she has suffered. And Jeanne says, men are deceivers, Françoise. Her gaze is bitter. How would you know that then, my lady? My mouth drops open, but I will not be drawn to speak of my own lot. I know it from my mother's many wise tales, all of which are true, even where names are changed. I frown. I have locked those away in my box along with her poems, for fear people might misunderstand the tales as base and merely bawdy. And she goes on, in one such tale it is even written that men's pleasure lies in dishonouring women, and their honour in killing men at war, both of which are against God's law. Françoise sighs, oh, women too take pleasure in both of those. And she goes on to tell about how Queen Catherine de' Medici and others have persecuted her about the pregnancy. Françoise feels that Jeanne's husband Antoine will be her protector and support her. Jeanne says, the King of Navarre is altogether too trusting. Like you, Françoise, you are about to go through the hardest thing you have ever done in your life. But Jacques, I'm not talking about him. Your time is near. Understand this. Everyone speaks of childbirth, at least when it is sanctified in law, as a great blessing and joy, but they lie, Françoise. It is the worst pain you will ever know, even unto death, and it may bring death. You are trying to frighten me. I am not afraid. You should be afraid. They count all the glory to themselves with their sieges and their slaughter. They have no idea what we face and what we endure, the war of our very bodies to survive and surmount this curse of Eve, and come out the other side with sons and daughters who will never know the battles we won for them before they even began. Françoise's face is sober again. I thought you were very happy to be a mother. I am. It is the most wonderful thing in my life. But we must look squarely, front on, at real things we have to go through, and not flinch when they are upon us, and not take on this role of victim whatever life throws at us, whether we bear children or not, for women who don't are made to suffer too. We need to be strong. I'm not sure I can do this. You can do it, I say, because I and the God of the religion will be here with you. If you want to find out what happens to Françoise, what becomes of her baby, and what Jeanne does about it, you'll have to read The War Within Me, which you can get from the publisher or from Amazon. And if you're interested to know the story that comes before hers, though it can be read separately, The Queen's Apprenticeship, about her mother Marguerite. In the meantime, why not look at some of my other videos about language and even some about poetry and fiction? See you in the next video.